Renaissance style.
So I get the sense that you teach it, you're not teaching like Fenaroli or Furno and that sort of thing. Are you teaching it in a different way? Because most people, when they think of Parlamento, they think, okay, I'm going to read the Regole by Fenaroli or I read the Regole by Furno, and then I work that way. How do you work when you teach Parlamento?
For the undergraduate harpsichord and organ students, I hold the first introductory class where we work on easy Handel and Telemann sonatas for soprano. And I introduce at the first the rule of the octave, and we work on the construction of its various chords. From the very beginning, I try to increase my students' awareness of the intervals above the bass, as indicated by figures, by numbers, and I insist on dismissing and forgetting the theory of fundamental bass and of the inversions. This is one of the most important things, because very often they arrive with a normal, standard, modern harmony classes with post-Rameau theories that are completely not important and also confusing when you improvise, I think.
Now, you mentioned fundamental bass theory and Rameau. You mentioned that you don't teach this, and could you explain?
No. I teach to forget it. I was very lucky because I don't know this theory.
Oh, you okay?
I completely don't know the theory because I studied always from my own continuo system, because I had Bach cantata score, and I saw these numbers and I understand alone what to do.
But Professor Messori, isn't it fair to say that there are some 18th century composers that did use fundamental bass theory, like Mozart maybe?
Mozart maybe knew the new Rameau system, but I think that the problem is this. When Martini, for example, was completely against the Rameau system, and another very famous, most famous anti-Ramist is Johann Sebastian Bach. And Carl Philipp Emanuel tells Wright that he and his father, like every real, true musician, are very distant from the Rameau mathematical theories. You know that Rameau composed like a wonderful clavecin improviser and opera composer, one of the best never. He composed after the continuo system, not after the Rameau theories. The Rameau theories are naturalistic interpretations are theoretical things, philosophical things that has nothing to do with the emperor. When you sit down at the keyboard, how to start a prelude, a little prelude. You think movement of the bass in the tonal system, movement of the bass. If you forget the imitations, the fugal system, and the modal fugal Renaissance Zarlino system, so contrapunto alla mente, that is much more great and much more difficult. But the very simple Baroque system, that is very simple, you think to movement of the basses. The Libro per accompagnare by Padre Martini, every exercise you found also in Dandrieu, for example. These are basses you can, if you make diminutions of these basses, you have still preludes, little cadences, like Padre Mattei verses, like and so you have only to think to the movement of the basses. So which grade represents this movement, but not if there is a fundamental bass and an inversion. So the 6 is opposite to 5, is not the first inversion of the triad.
Right.
This is completely. If you want to interpret, to make a philosophy, I studied philosophy, but this is not important at all. It's very important for the theoretical approach, but not for the practical one.